Hello.
Hello.
This is episode 21 of J&J Shoptalk.
What are we drinking?
Well, this is Stone's go-to IPA. It's a session IPA, so it has low alcohol.
But very hoppy.
Very hoppy.
Very hoppy. I haven't had anything quite that bitter in quite a while. It's nice.
Oh, it's awesome.
I like it.
Awesome. Got kind of a crisp, almost cidery feel to it. Like real. Is that like? I almost want to say like apple tasting.
Yeah, like a real sour apple.
Mm-hmm. It's very good. Session IPAs are one of my favorite beers because I really like the hop.
And you have a low tolerance.
And I have a low alcohol tolerance. So.
For beer, mind you.
For beer.
Because you're Scotch. And if you have Scotch, you can drink all the Scotch you want.
I can drink the Scotch. So this is a great beer.
What are you smoking?
Crowley's Best.
What's that?
English from Cornell and Deal. I haven't had it in a long time. I'll get back to you.
Okay.
I haven't.
I'm smoking Peter Stockaby's Luxury Navy Flake. It's different. It's not the twisted cube. It's the straight cube. Anyhow, it's quite good. I haven't had it for a long time either, and it's a little more bright, not quite so meaty and sweet. It's a little more of a brighter Virginia.
This English is Virginia based, more so than some.
Oh,
it's
wow.
got like a nice, like the red Virginias, the darker. It's not real heavy on a lot of Kias. It's good.
So, this week we kind of wanted to just talk about pipe shapes, which I'm sure most people are aware of. The general pipe shapes, and so we're gonna cover it anyway. But we're gonna use some examples of kind of the kinds of variations of shapes that we do, which it changes all the time. So
Right.
These are not classic examples.
Right. Right. If you want classic examples, go look at a Dunhill or a Kamoy or something like that.
Or Stanwell.
Stanwell has some good Danish classics. Start with the Billiard. Actually, this isn't a Billiard. Technically, this is a Lovett. Because it has the longer shank in the saddle. And it's also kind of short for a Billiard.
Right, but the bull shape is an exemplum of a billiard-esque shape because it's a little more straight-walled. It's not so brandy-like.
Yeah.
Which we'll show brandy in a second, but it's more of a straight wall. This is more of a brandy shape, which I think the name comes from the brandy glass, which is kind of very big and wide on the bottom and then tapers to the top. But this could kind of be called...
I guess you could call it a Billiard if you were really in the mood for it.
Yeah. It's kind of the funny thing about pipe shapes. They kind of intersect a little.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then going into the more squatty and round is a tomato. And obviously it's named that because it looks more like a tomato, which...
There you go.
Yeah, woot. And then to the other classic style of the apple, which is more like a sphere, more round, all round. And we showed this last week. So this one has a fin on it, and it's a teardrop shank.
And then a Rhodesian, and this is the prototype for the Reddit Pipe of the Year that we did last year. But a Rhodesian and a Bulldog are very similar, except that the Bulldog has the diamond shank, and a Rhodesian will have the round shank.
Right.
But it generally is round, and it has the rings on it, or the...
Either one or two rings.
One or two rings.
Never seen one with three, but I'm sure it exists somewhere.
I'm sure it exists somewhere.
And then we have, this is kind of our paneled shank version of a Dublin, and what defines a Dublin is that it's thinner at the bottom and then tapers up.
These are very rough definitions.
Yeah, very rough definitions, but it's just kind of the best examples that we have available at the moment. So, there's that. There's a reason why we're doing this, and
Oh, do you
we'll
want to do the
explain in a
blowfish real
second.
quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's a blowfish, which is asymmetrical and completely different than all of the others.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the blowfish it always has a cross grain that is accentuated by a panel. From the profile, oftentimes it can have a classic look of like an apple, or somewhat of a brandish kind of look.
Acorn or something, but
which we don't have an acorn right here.
Yeah, a blowfish is usually something that it has a cross grain, and people shape it with the grain in mind, with the panels, and I don't know. A blowfish is actually probably the most nebulous of the definitions. So, but in my opinion, the most fun and beautiful of the pipes at this point in the pipe making conversation in the world. Like I'm sure in 20 years we'll have a new shape that will be in vogue, that will really bring out the grain. But
yeah, and then there's other weird shapes like the whale or the porpoise that we make.
Yeah.
I think other people have made porpoises as well, but anywho,
there's eggs,
which this is more of an egg, actually, than a brandy, but that there you have it.
Yeah.
If it looks more like an egg than a brandy glass, it's an egg, etc.
Yeah.
Point being, the reason we bring this up is because I had an idea of wanting to make. Oftentimes, some people will make a sister set, often called sisters or twins, where two pipes are made exactly the same, or one's blasted and one's smooth, but they're made exactly the same, and they're made as a set. Two pipes that are a set that are basically exactly the same or exactly the same. And then there's also 7-day sets, which are often like one shape, different finishes, 7 different pipes, one for each day of the week. That's the principle behind the 7-day set. But I had this idea of wanting to do a 3-pipe set. And the reason behind that is the 3 main tobaccos: English, Virginia, and aromatic. And what I wanted to do was make three shapes that are different shapes with different chambers. And the 3 different chambers would be what we recommend and prefer for particular kinds of tobacco. So we wanted to get feedback from you guys to find out what you guys think should be the 3 main shapes.
And they'll all be with the same finish and maybe the same accent wood. And they'll all be like very similar in color and finish. But they would be different shapes with different chamber sizes. And in a cool package, maybe a box or
or like a carrying
travel
bag.
case. Yeah.
So tell us what you think. Anywhere you want to tell us, YouTube comments or Facebook, Twitter,
Reddit, whatever you're on.
Yeah.
And a final thought for you. Make sure that you run a cleaner through your pipes every once in a while. Otherwise, somebody's going to have to go in there several years from now or months from now when you really gunk it up with a drill bit and open it up and do a whole big thing on it. Don't let it come to that.
A lot of people are very obsessive and do it after every smoke. Sometimes they do it once before, once during, and once after. Some people don't do it at all. We recommend that you do it, and the more frequently the better.
He said doo-doo.
Meanwhile,
back on the range.
So,
all right.
Ciao.
Ciao.